Hello, this is Kieran for KLGReviews, and today I will be reviewing Terraria. So let's get right into it. For those of you who don't know, Terraria is a two-dimensional sandbox game created by game developing company Relogic. It has worlds that are random on each creation and provides hours of gameplay. The game came out in May of 2011 and is currently in update 1.3.5.4. It's currently the third bestseller on PC from two platforms, Steam and GOG.com, costing only $10 on both. It has sold over 20 million copies. Now moving on to the pro and con section, let's start off with some of the pros. For one, the game is very replayable, as there are a total of 3 main classes and 3 other subclasses, so you can change up how you play the game every time with different and interesting combinations. Secondly, the updates in this game for the most part add features that are worthwhile for their weight. The game has around 2,500 legitimately gainable items, all of which are unique in their own way. Lastly, the game is very balanced throughout. For example, most bosses in the game take around 2 or 3 attempts to learn and 3 or 4 for the harder ones. The equipment you have for fighting said bosses is also very balanced and not too over or underpowered for the time you can get them. That's it for the pros, now let's move on to the cons. First con I have is the lack of updates. Despite the fact that I said it was good for updates to come later so that the content was better, there is a point where the wait is too long for what it's worth. For example, it took more than 13 months to develop and release 1.3, whereas the update was revolutionary. It took almost too long, to the point where people lost interest in the game. Secondly, for the cons, we have the fact that some items and things lose their usefulness very quickly. For example, the chlorophyte gear is almost immediately replaced by better alternatives in both armor, such as turtle, beetle, spectre, and shroomite armors, and tools, such as the pick saw. That's all I have for the cons, and that ends the pro and con section. Moving on to the needs improvement section, where we discuss cons and things that weren't quite pros or cons, and how to improve them. We'll start off with the cons that need improvement, and the lack of updates can simply be fixed by making smaller content adding updates than larger updates that take longer and add a lot of items at once. Secondly, to fix the imbalance in and the usefulness after a short time problem, they could buff some items that are not good for a long time or nerf some items that are better than other items at the same time frame in the game to make all the things equally appealing. For the next thing that needs improvement but didn't quite fit into the pro or con section, we have the fact that there are not enough languages to fully encompass all places' main language. Swedish is not a supported language, and while Swedish people can learn English, it won't be as easy for them because it isn't their native language. To fix this, I would suggest for the developers to get translators from languages that are not supported yet and translate the games into that language. That's all I have for the needs improvement section. Moving on to the gameplay section, there's not much to say here. It's a 2D platformer-like sandbox game where you jump and shoot or swing at things in an attempt to eradicate them while dodging their attacks. The controls for the game are very good and won't take long at all to learn, and are also customizable depending on your preference. Gameplay is improved over time with additions like double jump accessories, potions, and wings or boots, but overall the gameplay is simple, somewhat fun, and easy to learn. Controller support is also available for PC if you wish to play with a controller. Considering everything, on a rating out of 10, I give Terraria a solid 8 out of 10 for having more good things than bad, not only having many improvements being required, having fun gameplay and easy to learn gameplay, and a lot of replayability for a game that is only $10 and is a two-dimensional sandbox game. As for the ratings of others, I can only find one video that gave the game a rating, and on a scale of 1 to 10, and that was the people from popular game reviewer IGN. IGN gave the game a rating 9 out of 10, and while the video is now over 4 years old, it contains little reason to give it a 9 other than the lack of story, but I find that is a bad reason to give the game a lower rating. Sandbox games are not meant to have a story, and while they are meant to encourage exploration and what the player wants to do, and therefore do not need a story. While this video is 4 years old, it makes a bad point to lower the score, though I do think 9 out of 10 is a little high myself. So that's the video. I wanted to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, drop a like on the video and consider subscribing for future reviews. This has been Kieran for KLG Reviews, and I will see you